Hey guys, this is Zahri, back on episode 1, part 2 of racial profiling, going over some new changes to my extra deck that I just made, and my now just constructed side deck. But yeah, this is racial profiling now. Came up with that title between episode 1 and 2, so yeah, let's do this. No episode series. Gotta do this at some point, right? So, changes to the extra deck. What's different? Take a guess. Let's see if you paid attention during part 1, okay? Stop the video, guess, now. Okay. We're back. Changes were, no more Maystroke. Look, no Maystroke. And no more Diamond Direwolf. Those are gone. In lieu of them, we have 10 Tempo and Fortune Tune. So, kind of provided my ideas on why I removed them previous video. And these were what I replaced them with. So, as you can see, we have a little bit more balance in our extra deck now, between ranks 3s and 4s. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7 to 8. So, looking at these two cards, 10 Tempo. Justification for this, some matchups I find tough myself, mostly against the Winged Beast variants, Harpies and Blackwings, and just in case of mean things like Tiger King or Dracosac or Big Eye that you can't necessarily get rid of, but you can stall for a bit. 10 Tempo can do that. Just of it, yeah, that's just what he does. He's a quick effect, so even if he gets bottom list or something, I mean, you can still take a material. And if he does stay, I mean, you have a 2200 beater on the field, and I believe Zero Fiend, Ice Princess Zero Fiend, clocks out at 2000 in that case, so they have a means of getting over her next turn after her effect wears off. Let's just double check that. Yeah, clocks in at 2000. So, not bad. In the advent of Tiger King, of course, you're never going to get him because they always have fire formations on the field, those Fire Fists. So, I mean, yeah. Or even in the case of a Susanoo, stop the consistency with, 2 detaches. Or even Kagetsuchi with its own self-destruction prevention. So yeah, there's that. And next extra deck choice, number 49, Fortune Tune, who has been getting a fair bit of hype recently. I myself think she's a pretty good card. The more I look at her, the more I think to myself I'd rather play it over Zen Mains, who I think is completely obsolete. I mean, these two cards more than suffice over him. Each of them brings so much more to the table, I think. Just because Zen Mains can be played around like nothing, whereas Fortune Tune here cannot be targeted by card effects. Monster effects, spells, traps, anything. So it's either going to take 3 consecutive attacks to get over it, a skill drain on the field, besides that, DD Warrior Lady, Tiara Misu, things that don't target. Yeah. So, then of course there is the recycling effect, so I mean, if you're a player who runs tour guides, then yeah, you can recycle those tour guides. Now, moving on to the extra deck. So, starting off with the obvious, we do have Maxi here, because things do special summon. I personally think the way that the meta is going to form this format, that Maxi won't see as much main deck play. There's a lot of consistent decks that don't prioritize the special summon too much. At most, you'll hope to just even out, and at worst, I mean, you won't plus at all just because you're in that situation where, say it's Fire Fist, they have 2 level 4s. They don't have to overlay, they're Fire Fist, they can just attack you. But, yeah, reasoning for that. If you ever do main deck it, I mean, there is the added utility in Madolches that it's never dead per se. I mean, even against a deck that never special summons, this thing always has the added utility of being hoot cake fodder at any time you want. So if you have a clear graveyard, not a single monster, you can just bring this guy out, be happy. So, next card, DD Crow. Gonna warn you guys right now, do not use this against Boojins, because they do have means of retrieving cards from their banished zone and graveyard all at once in Boojin Carnation and I believe they're Sword Trap card. So, but otherwise, good choice against, say, Prophecies, against, who else? Fire Fist, of course. Constellars, get rid of those fucking Sombras targets. Maybe not so much the Mermails, just because I'll explain that in a bit once I get to Transmigration Prophecy here, which is an amazing card. But also Noble Knight, because again this is indiscriminate and can be any card in the graveyard, so Target of Noble Arms is about to be equipped to what's-his-face, Artorigus, King of the Noble Knights. And, I mean, that's a little bit of a save there. Maybe go for that Excalibur or Noble Arms of Destiny. Because either one of those is just brutal no matter how you look at it on that thing. Moving on. Sorry, clear my throat there. Mind Crush, just because, again, going to consistency format, I mean, Mermails, Fire Fists, Boojins, Constellars, hell, even Evil Swarms add cards from their deck to their hand, though I don't think we'll be seeing as much of them. Anything that runs Tenki, anything that runs Poly Duality, a lot of things. Infernities. So, I believe, this card has a lot of stopping power. And it's especially present in the Mermail match. Reason being, and this is something a lot of inexperienced players don't understand, at least maybe those who don't play in Dev Pro, because this is the thing. Mermail Abyss Megalo is not an inherent summon. I feel like a lot of competitive players treat it like it is, though. Gist of it, Mermail Abyss Megalo does start a chain. When you activate its effect, discarding 2 monsters, it reveals itself in the hand. So at that point, you know they have Abyss Megalo, and it's still in the hand. You can Mind Crush that shit right off the bat. They'll still get their, say, Atlantean effects behind you, or whatever effects they discard for. But, getting that Megalo off the field, I mean, that's always a good play. Or even an Abystius. Abystius especially, actually, given what it provides for the deck. Also, if it's in hand, Tidal, Dragon Ruler. Or any Dragon Ruler for that matters, being special summoned from the hand. Because even at 1, there's still splashable tech, so they'll see play. And there's even still just plain Dragon Ruler decks that are still going around, even with only one of each dragon being available, Ravine Dead, they're using Dragon Shrine, so I mean, that's another match in and of itself. And a good choice to side Transmigration Prophecy against, because Transmigration Prophecy stops a lot of things, whereas I would not side DD Crow against Boojins, I would side Transmigration Prophecy. I would also side it against Mermails, because there's an official OCG ruling stating that since the monsters discarded by, say, Megalo or Abystius are no longer in the grave, but in the deck, that they no longer get their effects, because effects cannot activate in the deck, as well as the area itself not being public information, whereas the Banish Zone and Graveyard are. So, if you say DD Crow, and Atlantean Dragoons, it'll still get its effect. If you Transmigration Prophecy the Dragoons, it should not get the effect. Mind you, there's an OCG ruling, so that's something to keep in mind. But I think it's worthy of appealing, because there's no TCG precedent. That's the ruling I would personally enforce as a judge. Which, by the way, I am a judge. So, overworked. Let's just list things this works against. The obvious first, Fire Fists. Then there's Constellars. Insectors, which you're seeing a little bit of play. Anything that runs tanky for the most part. Even Noble Knights. So, yeah. Though maybe to a lesser scale, because they do run Noble Arms of Destiny, and a smart player will play that first, so it's one of the situations where you have to gauge the skill of your opponent, or hope that they don't draw into Destiny. Maybe in our Feuded Deer, you have Overworked set, so I mean, either way you're going to lose it, so just use it. Play Imprisoning Mirror because Boojins. Constellars. And those are 2 big ones, really. When Primal Origins are on, artifacts will be a thing as well, so even more options. Fairies as well. Always fairies. Soul Drain, because there is a theme to this side deck, if you haven't noticed. It's stop shit in the graveyard, because a lot of things are happening there. Mermails, Boojins, yeah. That should be more than enough to justify this thing. Amazing card. Next card, Sleeper Pick, DNA Surgery, because, well, I mean, it just fucks with things. It stops Boojins in their tracks, because all their Regalia monsters, all their graveyard and hand effects require a Beast Warrior Boojin monster. Noble Knights, every single Noble Arm except Excalibur requires a Noble Knight Warrior monster. It's terrible against Mermails, I use it against Mermails. Fire Fist, it stops all their damage boost. They can still activate their spells, but most of their traps, I believe all of them actually, except maybe Ultimate Fire Formation, require there be a Beast Warrior on the field to target for the effect, because it does provide a massive boost to a single Beast Warrior. So, yeah, that's the thing. Just call, say, I don't know. Oh yeah, it's Madolches. Let's go with Beast, and I'll explain that right now, because, we are looking at Messenger Gelato right now. And his effect procs when he's special summoned while there's a Madolche Beast on the field. It doesn't say another Madolche Beast on the field, just while there's a Madolche Beast on the field. Meaning, say you have a dead Gelato in hand, but, let's say you were lucky enough to have this on the field previously, and Madolche Palooza on the field. Activate Palooza. Chain DNA Surgery, call Beast. Palooza resolves after DNA Surgery, bring out the Gelato. And say you just had a clear field except this just summoned Gelato. Gelato procs off himself, because he's technically a beast at the time that he's summoned, and there's a Madolche Beast on the field, given Madolche Messenger Gelato is a Madolche monster. I.e., the two prerequisites are fulfilled. There is a beast on the field when he's special summoned. Well, three prerequisites. He was special summoned, and there's a Madolche Beast on the field. So yeah, not that bad. And finally, one-off, just because, just for the rogue dark decks, I guess. I mean, Evil Swarms, Insectors. I personally don't know how this thing would work against Noble Knights, because most of their effects make them dark monsters when they're equipped with Noble Arms, so... yeah. It's a really weird one. But Dark World as well, obviously. But we also have a lot of hate against Dark World and of all these things. Not Mind Crush, mind you, no, don't do that. If they have their field spell on the field, then Overworked is obviously a thing. Soul Drain stops them dead in their tracks, mostly. But mind you that Soul Drain will not stop Grapha's summon, as it is an inherent summon. That's the key difference between, say, this Transmigration thing and the whole Megalo bit. They can just kind of summon Grapha as a free action, and it doesn't start a chain. You can respond to it starting a chain, mind you, but no matter what, Grapha's going to end up on the field, unless you say you have a Vanity's Emptiness already in effect. And you can't just chain to the summon of Grapha, Grapha will still be on the field. So, yeah, always keep that in mind. It will, however, stop the destruction effect of Grapha, i.e. when it's discarded to the graveyard, destroy a card on the field, this will stop that from activating. So, yeah. That is my Madolche deck profile. This has been the first episode, second part of racial profiling. I hope you guys enjoyed it. This is Zahri signing off. Have a wonderful day, people.